Hey everyone, we are going live real soon. We're just waiting for our notifications to get out to YouTube land. Stick around, we got an awesome show and an awesome week on teaching you how to master the pull-up. So you want to know how to increase your pull-ups or how to do a first pull-up if you've never been able to do one. Well, in today's show, we're going to deconstruct the pull-up and teach you to identify where the weak links in your body are that are preventing you from doing a pull-up. Now, make sure you stick around right to the end because we're also going to reveal the biggest mistake that people make when working towards a pull-up. All that and more coming up.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.
Hey everyone, in case we haven't met, my name is Rad Burmeister. I'm one of the co-founders of Unity Gym and co-creators of the UMS, the Unified Movement System, where we take driven people and turn them into superhumans. We get such astonishing results with our members because we've created a program that has a balance between strength and flexibility. If you want to know how we do that, you can download our free flexibility blueprint. There's a link in the description of this video. Now, as always, I have the legendary Phil White with me, our resident physiotherapist. How are you, Phil?
Very well, thank you. Had a lovely weekend of I got 3 ocean swims in, pretty happy with that, and a cycle up to Palm Beach. So for all those home and away fans watching, yeah, I got to see where it all began.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and my mow is coming along speedily. So,
yes,
you know,
nice.
looking forward.
Nice work. Yeah, Phil's doing Movember, so if you want to donate, go to his Instagram page and hit the link.
A guy with a much stronger mow than me described it as an eyebrow the other day. And that was pretty. That cut me deep.
So, listen, for those of you watching, please let us know in the comments what is holding you back from being able to do a pull-up. We want to know because we're doing a whole week on this. So leave a comment, let us know what you feel is holding you up so we can answer that for you. And if you're watching, please hit the like button and leave a comment with your name and where you're watching from so that we can answer you. And we've got a few comments here from Abdul L, who actually requested this show, and you've got a few left field comments there, man, like you're asking some questions that are about different topics. We are going to stick with the topic of pull-ups for this week, as you requested last week. So yeah, man, buckle in because we're answering your questions here from last week. So let's save the questions for other topics until later on in the week. So what we're going to talk about today really is identifying the 4 most common areas of your body that are going to be causing you to not be able to do a pull-up. And they are weak grip, weak biceps, weak lats, and weak scapular depression. Those are the 4 main things that people are going to be suffering with that are preventing them from doing a pull-up. So what we're going to do now, we're going to get out on the gym floor. I'm going to demonstrate a couple of pull-ups, and Phil's going to talk you through what it would look like if you had one of these areas was weak. So let's get out there now.
All right, okay. I'm on the mic again. So, Brad, take your shirt off. I'm getting my shirt on to here. So, Brad's done his body pump pretty exposed. So, that wasn't his back on the thumbnail. I'll go here. So, actually, we'll show what a weak scapular depression is. Yeah, so doing press up, if we have the ability to pull out the shoulder down, you're pulling up. End up at the top there, and this hunches up position is so common, especially for people at the end of like the last rep, finish the row. At the top, that if you start to lose that control and end up in that hunched position, then you know you can experience your shoulder control. And so now we're going to do what it ideally would look like. So as you get to the top there, you see much more shoulder backing down in much smaller positions. So the result is this. And if it's your fingers that are weak, it's going to be pretty obvious. So then you really need to demonstrate that one. Which will just start with some grip as you move across. The lats and the biceps are a little bit harder to identify because the lats and the biceps are kind of going to present with just this inability to be able to pull at all. So here. So this one is you getting up there, and then that the pulling strength is up there to get up into the water. So you're keeping your shoulders backing down, backing down with the whole arm fine, but it's just that the actual strength is yeah, and you can probably do like an eccentric pull-up, which would be a little bit easier to identify, because if you can do an eccentric pull-up, but you just kind of drop to the ground like that, in my experience, that's got a lot to do with the biceps. So usually the biceps would be able to hold you to go down slowly. But if you grab onto the bar at the top like this and try to do an eccentric pull-up, and you just drop, that's usually a pretty good indicator that the biceps are very weak. And so in that case, they're doing the supinating grip there, so this is very bicep intensive pull-up. And we'll go over this later in the week about how you change the grip to really target those muscles. But in that situation, where you're holding on there and you're not able to consolidate them, which is very much bicep anyway, you go to a different grip or a pronated grip especially. Pronated grip, you got pull outs, and neutral grip will be the brachialis and the brachioradialis in your forearm plus the line. So there's little ways you can test those eccentrics to really pinpoint what's the missing link in there. Now this is assuming again that this is a you're a healthy population, haven't got the shoulder conditions that are holding you back. So if you do have shoulder injuries as well, then things might be a bit different here. If you've had past rotator cuff issues, and as we've gone.
Oh, the mic didn't work out there. What a shame. Is your mic still switched on? Guys, I'm so sorry about that. It looks like the mic failed. I'm just looking at some of the comments here. So whilst we just double check.
Is that working now?
So we're just going to check to see if Phil's mic's working. So I'm just going to say, I'm really sorry, guys, but if you just watch that, what we were demonstrating is to show the
Should we
first
just go
one.
out again? We can quickly.
Yeah, is the mic working now?
Yep, should be.
Richie, is Phil's mic working
Sorry,
now?
team. Yep. Yeah, that was my bad. It's turned off.
Oh, it was it?
Yeah, it was turned
what
off.
a shame, what a shame.
Sorry,
okay.
team.
Okay, guys, we're going to go out and do that again so that now that Phil's mic's working. Sorry about
My
that.
bad. Monday-itis, hey? Oh, good.
That's
All right, out we go. So, good engagement, guys. Thanks for getting on the comments. Rad's straight off again. So, what we were going over, the first one is when you're going up and you're not able to hold through the muscles that depress your shoulder blades, and you're going to end up in that hunched position, which is so common for people at the gym. Is when they're not very experienced with pull-ups, is they're up in that position. And people who actually think they're really good at pull-ups and punch out loads of reps, you'll see by the end often they're up in this position. So it's an inability to control the shoulder blade muscles. So
Whereas what
and
you want
the
it to
strength.
look like.
So see the difference there is when he's at the top of the pull-up there,
he's in this nice tall position where his shoulders are back and down. So if you think about a piece of string that pulls you up through your chest, and that kind of gives you that nice posture that you want at the top, where your sternum touches the bar. Whereas if you're at the top and your sternum's not touching the bar and your shoulders are rolled forward, then you've got a lack of control and lack of strength through there. Okay?
So the weak grip is much easier to identify because whilst you do your pull-ups, your fingers are going to go. I used to experience that about 20 years ago when I was learning how to do pull-ups. So that's a really easy one to identify. Weak lats or biceps is harder to identify. It looks a little bit more like this at the bottom.
So when you're just pulling and pulling and pulling, but you're not going up, then that's obviously a sign that the muscles that are the pulling muscles, so in this case your biceps and your lats are not quite there.
Yep. And in my experience, I find that you can identify whether it's weak biceps or not by trying to do an eccentric rep where you start at the top and try and lower yourself down.
So this is an eccentric in a supinated position, which makes it much more bicep heavy. And there he had the good control, but if he's not able to hold it.
Yeah, if my biceps were weak, it would look like this.
Yeah, so just that
just
lack of strength and not able to control. Now you can repeat that for a neutral grip and a pronated grip, which will make it, we'll take it off the biceps a bit. The neutral will make it a bit more brachialis and brachioradialis, and then the pronated grip will make it much more lat intensive. But we're going to go into changing up the grip and how that affects your pull up later on in the week. So thanks for the going round two with us.
Guys, hear all of that. Let us know if you heard that. So we've got a couple of good questions here. I'll answer them in just a sec. So the whole idea of today's show and what we've just done there is to really show you guys how you can, like a couple of tools of how to identify which part of your body is weak. And what we're going to do for the rest of this week is we're going to show you guys how to strengthen those, because there's a lot to it and it's actually quite simple when you know what to do. But when you don't know what to do, you can really be banging your head against the wall for a long time just going, why can't I do pull-ups? I've been trying to do them for a year and I still can't do them. But
and a really good example of that is for people who, maybe have come from a bit more of a bodybuilding background where you really isolate certain muscle groups. So if you do like a lot of bicep curls, then maybe you've done a lot of, lat specific work, and then you go and you try and put it together in this compound movement and it doesn't come together. So maybe you're lacking that sort of shoulder control, and it might not be that your rhomboids or your traps are that weak, but it's just you haven't practiced that movement pattern and there's a real skill involved. So understanding like how you can troubleshoot your pull-up is so important. So if you've had issues before with certain aspects of that, let us know, and we'll be working through them during the week.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we want to do, we're going to answer a few questions now, and I'll just tell you about what we're going to do for the rest of the week. So tomorrow we're going to show you guys how to strengthen the grip and the scapular depression there. So the scapular depression is the most common thing that people have that's weak in being able to progress with a pull-up. Then on Wednesday, we're going to be showing you how to strengthen the biceps and the lats. And then on Thursday, we're going to go into some actual pull-up techniques, so some different ways that you can do pull-up specific exercises. And then on Friday, we're going to go into some more advanced overload techniques where we teach you how to use hybrid sets and how to use different grips. So it's going to be a really, really good week.
Yeah, and just, I said this before, probably without the mic or when we were just walking back in the room, but again, we're looking at, a healthy shoulder population here. So if you've had significant shoulder injuries or you're currently battling with a bit of a niggle, then I think that pull-ups are a wonderful exercise to make your shoulders strong, but you're going to want to regress back to a much more simpler version if pull-ups themselves are causing you issues, and then build up from here. So again, we're talking about sort of a healthy shoulder.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. So Omar Ramirez is saying, I think my grip strength and lats keep me from doing the pull-ups. Well, Omar, I'd love to hear if after this show, if you go and do these tests that we've just shown and see if you feel that you can confirm that it is your lats and your grip strength. See if you can give us a confirmation. Let us know in the comments later of the video, and make sure you watch the rest of the episodes this week because you're going to get some very good stuff out of this. Michael P is saying, sounds like the mic turned off. Yeah, sorry about that, Michael.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Amr Ali, AMR Ali is saying, I came late and I can't do pull-ups. Well, this week's shows are going to be for you, my man. And then we've got Omar Ramirez saying, I heard it all that time. That's awesome. Okay, so let's get into some of the comments that we've had over the weekend. We've had some really good comments here. So Grant Knott has said, love your videos, Rad. Pardon my ignorance, but what do you mean when you say towards the end that you have to strengthen opposing muscle groups for the splits or any other body movement to work? This is on how to do the side splits if you're not flexible. So what we've found is that it's not just about strengthening the muscles that are tight that prevent you from getting into a position, but it's also strengthening the antagonist, so it's not just stretching the muscles that are tight, it's about strengthening the antagonist, the opposing muscles in that end range, which really solidifies in the central nervous system that this is a usable range. And I've found personally, and through experience with all of our members at Unity Gym, through using the methods that have worked for me and my brother and Richard, is that this has delivered superior results to just stretching alone by a long shot.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, if you think about if you want to go in a certain direction, either you can, let body weight draw you into that direction, or you can also activate the other side. So we'll just use an example of like if I wanted to extend my arm, either I can be in this position and just let my arm drop, or I can use my triceps to really like forcefully pull it down. So if I was trying to stretch my bicep, by adding a bit more tricep activation into there, then I'm going to get a stronger contraction on this side. And also when you're activating opposing muscle groups, then you actually get a neurological inhibitory signal that goes to the opposing muscle group, which is really clever because otherwise we'd be co-contracted and not be able to do smooth movements. So you can see in things like epilepsy and certain neurological conditions, you get that co-contraction and you can't control your muscles, but the body's developed this really clever way of if you activate one muscle, then it will forcefully chemically relax the other muscle. So when you're going into that splits position, then you can, if you're using your abductors, so your glute medius and minimus mostly, then that's going to actually cause a inhibitory signal to your adductors, allowing it to relax and get further into that stretch.
Yeah, awesome. Hope that helps, Grant. Jeff Schultz is saying, what are your thoughts on foot position? I'm deducing that toes out is okay based on both of your positioning. That comes from their best hip mobility exercises daily squat routine. Absolutely, toes out is okay. The foot position is going to differ from person to person, and if you have a look at some of our other squat videos, we've got some really good videos that explain this, that go into real depth. But there's so many factors that come into play with this. There's what's going on in the hip joint, the length of the femur versus the length of the tibia, the length of the spine. There's a lot of different things going on. So yes, absolutely, foot position, just play around with it. What we teach people to do is to play around with three main variables. Number one is the angle that the feet are pointing to, the toes are pointing to. Number two is the width between the feet. And number three is how much you force the knees outward or how much you let them relax. And if you play around with those three variables, you'll find a position that allows you to squat deeper more comfortably, and that's where you should squat.
My one comment on that is if you do go toes out, a lot of people sort of think that will fix all your kind of knee woes, but if you're going toes out and your knees are still coming in over your big toes, then that's not ideal. So just it doesn't matter where your foot is really, as long as your knees are still kind of tracking over the toes, sort of the smaller toes, not your big toe or inside of that. So a bit of feedback.
Andy Lawson is saying, even when I don't think you're covering a topic of relevance to me, it's still worth watching as there's always something surprisingly useful to learn from the chat. As you'll have gathered by now, Movember's definitely global. I took part in Scotland back in 2010 along with a bunch of friends. And he's saying that on the orthotics for flat feet from last week. So thanks, Andy. Thanks for your comment, brother.
Yeah, I'm having that with all these videos, like we're talking about specific things, but as you might have noticed by now, a lot of it's coming down to just certain principles of training, certain principles of human movement and biomechanics, and there are and with training programming especially, like there are so many nuggets of information that you can take from one thing and apply it to others. So those ideas of progressive overload that we keep talking about, and regression and progression. So yeah, whenever you're watching these videos and you're thinking about it, if we're talking about the foot, then you can try and think about how you can apply those to other parts of the body. And yeah, I think there's a good point.
Okay, Gonzalo CID is saying, I really enjoy your content, a lot of quality information and very well explained. Could you make a video about compression strength for the V-sit and stuff? He's saying that on one of our videos last week, orthotics for flat feet, how to stop using them. Thanks so much, Gonzalo. I really appreciate that comment. And we actually have quite a few videos on compression strength. So definitely happy to make some more if we get enough engagement. So if anybody else wants to see any videos on compression strength, let us know. But in the meantime, Gonzalo, if you just search our channel for compression strength, and also just look for the press to handstand videos, there's a lot of really good compression strength routines in there.
How you going, Quark? Morning to you. Hey guys, there's quite a few people on the chat there. So if you do have any specific questions about the pull-up today, anything you've gone wrong, yeah, let us know now, because we want
Yeah,
to chat about
that way we can-
pull-ups, and we can
That's right.
get to
We
your
can
questions.
answer your questions. Yep. JJ Malvarez is saying, never apologize for trying to make an honest living. Such amazing content value, guys. He's saying this on the how to increase overhead mobility. We had someone was ragging on us for linking Amazon links, and we gave him a serve. So JJ Malvarez says, you guys said piss off. I say fuck off. Whomever that imbecile is probably had never worked for an honestly living. I hope you make 1 million more times money that you're making already. Keep up the good work, guys. Thanks so much, man. We really appreciate that love. And it's a funny, since we posted that response and started talking about it, we've had a lot of really positive feedback. So it's great to great to hear that you guys support us. JJ Malvarez is also saying on the how to test overhead mobility, do this first video. He's saying, hey guys, I'm not able to catch your live videos and ask direct questions, but I wanted to first thank you for putting out such a great and well-explained video about issues of such importance. In regards to this issue, and after finding the problem areas, I was wondering what to implement first. In the case of tight lats and triceps, should I jump right away into stretching, passive, active, or should I foam roll and or deep tissue massage and or both, or perhaps is none of the above but actual strengthening of the muscles involved? Please advise. Man, I would say all of it. It's just a matter of like writing down a plan and being, for me personally, because I'm a trainer, there's no shortage of how many things I can do. It's how do I put this into a workout that I can do daily and that I'm not going to get overwhelmed with. And so I'll come up with, and it's all about testing and adjusting. Like the program that I wrote to fix an issue 6 months ago is nothing like the program I write to fix the same issue last week, because over the 6 months I've had time to evolve the program and figure out what worked better for me. And you just have to accept that process. You've got to accept that what you're going to do now is not going to be as good as what you're doing in 6 months, but you try something, you write it down, you come up with a plan, you say, I'm going to get a massage once a week, I'm going to foam roll every day for 5 minutes, I'm going to do the release on my lats or whatever it is, whatever areas you need to do, and I'm going to do these stretches and these strengthening exercises. And then you see how it works for 6 weeks. And then you reflect back on your results after 6 weeks, and then you make adjustments and go again and go again and go again, and you will get better.
Yep. Karina has just come in here and said, thanks for covering the pull-ups this week. This is where I'm weakest. I mean, that's just so common for people when they get into training, because it is such a challenging movement, because you are, like, with every other exercise, like if you're using dumbbells or body weight, it's generally a lot easier to, deload, use lighter dumbbells or go on your knees for a push-up. So overcoming gravity and working against that bar is really challenging. It can seem like a bit of a large barrier to get through for a lot of people. So
it's massive. Because in my opinion, being a coach for 16 years now, I think the pull-up is probably the first calisthenics movement that anybody really wants to learn. And it's not, I call it calisthenics because it's a body weight movement, but it's something that's used in traditional strength training as well, because it's something that is, in most people's minds, it's more achievable than a lot of other good strength feats, and it really is a satisfying feeling. If you go from not being able to do pull-ups to being able to do them, it's a massive milestone,
easily.
So there's so many people that can't do them that want to be able to do them, and it's such a worthwhile journey as well, because if you can't do pull-ups, like to go through this checklist of what we just spoke about, identifying these weak links, when you make them strong, man, does your body change. Like so much changes in your body when you can go from not being able to do a pull-up to being able to do it.
Yeah, and I think it's as I did mention just before, with like the isolated strength training versus compound strength training, like this is just the ultimate in, you have to have your systems all working together, because the shoulder blades need to be really active to provide a good stable base for your rotator cuff to work, which will allow your moving muscles to do their best job. And then when you're doing it as well, like your abdominal muscles really have to switch on to be able to hold you in that position. So it is like such a great all-body movement. So as we go on through the week, we can talk about the places to start, so the real regressions to make those things easier and build on from there. But
this is for those of you that can't do pull-ups, or for those of you that can, but you always have rounded shoulders. This is going to be a really, really good week for you, and I hope that you all tune in. That's all we've got time for today. So please, as always, if you've watched through to this point, make sure you've hit the like button, leave us a comment with your name and where you're watching from, and any questions about the pull-up, any concerns about the pull-up, anything that you want us to cover more about the pull-up. Let's keep it specific to pull-up and upper body, at least pulling strength, anything to do with pulling strength, and we will help you out this week. Until tomorrow, have a great day. Enjoy your training.
Health is about performance, not just body image.
You better be willing to accept what you're going to have to do to get there.
We'll start focusing on movement goals, strength goals, flexibility goals.
When you nail that skill, It's there forever.
The body image goal doesn't get you that
It's
far.
the consistency and frequency that's going to get you there. It's not the intensity.
There's no shortcuts to mastery and movement. Destination doesn't change overnight, but your direction will.
The gym is not the place to beat up the body that you hate. It's the place to build the body that you love.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.